the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause. I'm the law.
It's going to be amazing to watch the last game, Aaron.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the final game of PGC. I want to hear you shake this place to the foundations. Let's head over to the commentary team. It's Erangel. It's game number 12.
4AM managed to step up and move into that first place position. It is so tight up at the top of the leaderboards, and there is 1 round remaining, paper thin. It's time to go.
The pride of EU, the pride of Korea, and the pride of China on the line right now. 4AM 99 points, Gen.G 97, FaZe 92. These are your 3 front runners, and this is going to be an amazing finish, Matchroom.
This is what you want from a PUBG event, for it to come down to the very tail end of it, for this last round to decide everything. There is so much on the line. It's just like Avenger and the rest of the desk was talking about. We start off over here at IEM Oakland so long ago, and now back in this arena to culminate a full year of esports for PUBG.
And a $4 million prize pool now is on the line. And that is a lot in part to the fans, the passionate fans that love this game. We love you guys. You're the best.
I still have my eye back over towards TSM that had to move way back over next to Chamgpionshp, and a couple of shots already coming back over towards the center as it looks like Genesis does catch W-Click in rotation.
Yep, Genesis moving southwest of Pachinki are finding W-Click, making their way across the southern part. Now we got a battle breaking up between Entis Ace. Rang is down. Sharpshot was already down as well. Rang with that micro Uzi, but he is going to get found out. Here comes Alfaka. He finds a Zanpa. Mickey on the right-hand side out-duels me, Luke.
So with this, Mickey's now starting to get controlled back towards the center of this. Sharky's just had to make an exodus out of this position. He's just got to leave his teammates behind. As you can see that Ace has managed to take control over this position. They do lose one. Joy's in the process of bleeding out, but with this, they should be able to rotate back over there and get the res, depending on how these rotations go. You said you wanted to see how 4AM's going to rotate. It's just straight through the middle of it, as now FaZe starting to bump into a couple of teams rotating as well. FaZe is just out in the middle of the road. VC's got an angle. There's already one down. A lot of damage has gone back over towards Mixie. So now you can see he's just trying to spin back around over it. This is just a fight in the middle of the road. No, Mixie is down as well.
VC surrounds FaZe and gets 2 of them out the gate. A huge loss for our EU team here. Fuzzface and Uba, the only 2 left, and that is going to keep them pinned in that compound more west of all of this fighting.
How did that fight even start off towards the beginning of it? It looks like they just bumped into each other and decided to go for a fight back towards it, and it ends up taking a lot of damage back over towards FaZe. So FaZe losing too early. They can still potentially scrap it together, but 4AM
makes it even more difficult for them to get where they want to go. They still have a UAZ and a buggy, it looks like, but like we saw in the last round, the buggy's not the ideal vehicle.
Oh, well, it looks like they just decide, let's just do up inside of this, both of us, so that way we got one guy on the back taking the shots. It is going to be very hazardous to make this push back over. It feels like they just want to send it back towards the center. Live how you die right now. These guys are just charging in. They know exactly where they want to go, and they're going to commit towards it. They have their buggy slip off to the side. It's fine. It's righted up, but it's going to slow them down. The shots are going to come through from Tempo Storm, but not connect. The push continues from 4AM. They're going to run back over next to FaZe Clan. A couple of shots going to go through, and I think 4AM is just going to find this little bit of a dip up towards the top and try to sell it. Oh! That's one more down off of this. Wayless is the last one alive. Mickey has the angle for it. The shots are coming through, but somehow Wayless manages to dodge the first one. His ankle's a bird. 4AM is out.
4AM is done. They're only 2 points ahead of Gen.G, 6 ahead of FaZe as they pick up another point, killing that member of 4AM. Tragedy is struck here for the Chinese team.
The wreckage rolls down the hillside. 2 points back behind them is going to be Gen.G. Still, all of their members alive, but it's been so quiet around them. Like, they're just kind of posted up over here. All the violence is happening in different parts of the map. That could lead to be a little bit of a problem, as there's still 14 teams alive. If something bad happens to them, there's still a chance that 4AM could hold this, because FaZe has already lost 2 as well.
Yeah, Gen.G, I think right now knows full well that we've lost 4AM out of this lobby. So Loki sees that drop, potentially going to look and go for it. Sungjang pushing ahead for Entis Force as they're going to try to regroup and get a little bit more center circle for themselves. This is a really nice situation for Gen.G right now. Can they hold on? They've still got 4 strong. They've got a decent position inside of the circle. It's going to come down to their teamwork and their aggressiveness at the end.
So with this, you can see Gen G, let's just stack up more things in their favor as they're going to walk over and get a crate to play with as well. But no teams really next to them. It's just Lazarus who looks like they're making a push back over towards GEX right now. They have a lot of control over this situation, but they're also kind of down in a dip. They can play along these little bit of ridges, take a couple of pot shots at what goes on around them, but also not a lot of information that they can gather off of this position.
Right, exactly correct. Because of all the hills here, there isn't a lot of sight lines for them to utilize. This is a team that likes to get up high, find the angles, get the information, but right now they're going to be playing without it for a bit, relying on their visual and sound cues that they have, which isn't going to be a ton. Now, yeah, there's a flat field out there, but nobody's really going to be going on it. As you can see, Lazarus just bypassing it. Circle heads directly south.
So with this, Gen G not inside the circle. They're going to have to figure out how they want to make their push back over towards it. Navi, TSM, Force, all back down towards the south of the circle right now. It's all about how Gen G tries to move this. If they go a little bit too risky, we could see already 4AM has felt that detriment on what can happen to you, but Gen G tends to be a little bit more controlled. Here comes the start of the rotation, starting to send one of the members out. You can see a couple on foot, trying to gather a little bit more information right now off of it, but so much of the circle already kind of controlled at this point and becomes very, very hazardous.
Yeah, there is some room to maneuver up there, and Sharky is going to push up towards FaZe. So Sharky's already played a bit of a spoiler for 4AM. Is he going to do it to FaZe Clan as well? This guy is the lone ranger right now for NA. He's trying to put some hurt on some of these other regions.
So with this, Gen G starts to make their push back over towards the circle. They can hear the fight off to the side. It's going to be GEX and Lazarus getting caught up in a little bit of a skirmish. Pio hops out, immediately looks that direction, trying to see if there's anything that they can pick up, any angles that they can find. GEX is trying to retreat off of the situation right now as it looks like Lazarus has an angle back over towards them, but there's no clean sight lines for Gen G to play with.
Well, right now they're just going to try to set up a contain. That battle is going to have to resolve itself one way or another between Lazarus and GEX. Now moving over to T1, they're pretty well and out of it, but there is a potential big battle between Entus Force and them that could erupt here. Entus Force needs all the kills in the world and a chicken dinner. Now 4AM is already out, and neither FaZe nor Gen G has done anything, so the door is open for them, Matchroom.
See the point that Lazarus is playing off right now, taking a couple of shots back over towards GEX. Meanwhile, Gen G is just praying that the fight starts to move over to a different side, seeing if they can try to get anything out of this. This is a very aggressive position coming out of them. They've got their vehicles along the slope of this, just trying to see if they can get any shots, connect with anything to get any downs. FaZe also still on the hunt. Remember, they're right up there towards the top of this. There is still a chance for FaZe to come away. If they manage to walk away with some kills or a first place position, they can make their way up towards the top of the leaderboard. 4AM already locked in position, and it looks like Lazarus on the motorcycle starting to send it. Might have a side flank off to the side of Gen G.
All right, Gen G is set up inside of this little divot by the road using a couple buggies as protection potentially. Loki has got that level 3 gear for himself, just trying to find some kind of angle, but nobody's really exposing themselves because all of this battle is pretty much taking part on the north side of this, on the other side of these buildings. But now somebody's going to poke their head over. Pio's putting some shots in. They are not able to get any knocks.
This is start to be a little frustrating for Gen G. They know that they need points right now. Finally going to connect with a couple of shots, but they're not even going to get credit for it. Look, it's just going over towards GEX right now. Purdy Curdy's also finding himself getting caught on an outside angle as well. So Lazarus starting to fall apart to the side of this, and Gen G made a commitment to playing off this position to try to find kills off of it and finds nothing.
Yeah, Fuzzface looking at TSM's Iro. Oh, Pio is able to get one kill onto Purdy Curdy, so that is one more point for Gen G. They're going to get another one here. That's 3. They are now ahead of 4AM.
Looking back over towards this, you can see Loki starting to make a little bit more of a push back with the buggy. They're comfortable inside their position. Luke 12 down below them just inside the shack. Pio starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, but notice Tide is starting to move off across that field. I don't think that Pio spotted him out off this. The new circle pops. It's going to shift back over towards FaZe and Entus Force right now, but Gen G is going to have to move yet again.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really interesting fight that Gen G has coming up. First of all, they want to deal with Luke 12 here. Then they've got the other Korean team, Entus Ace, up ahead. You can see Luke 12 is stuck inside of the shack. VC has a bit of an angle. And once again, a member of VC popping off with an AWM up there, so they're getting themselves some nice little equipment to work with. Luke 12 is going to wait this out as long as he possibly can. Only one way in or out of those shacks.
Look at the differences in playstyle from what we've seen. Gen.G right now is playing so controlled. They know exactly where Lazarus' last member is, instead going to opt into rotating around. But this is going to put them in the path of FaZe. It looks like they've opted to make the push back over right next to FaZe's complex. There's only 2 members of FaZe posted up. The full push did not come through. We didn't see the send it, but just on the other side of this little bit of a ridge, you can see that's where FaZe is sitting in wait.
This could be the tournament right here. If Gen.G can bust FaZe out of here, they could potentially put themselves in the winning position, assuming something completely nutty doesn't happen from Entis Force or somebody else. You see Luke 12 leaving, but I tell you what, Matchroom, this is getting really intense.
Pay attention to the kill feed. The moment that we see FaZe get a down off of this position, you might just see Gen.G rise up and run to those buildings, knowing the fact that there's the potential for them to get the win off of it. So now, Gen.G still holding that angle off to the side of it. They are now in first place, but it's FaZe that's just nipping on the heels back behind them. They're just a couple 100 meters apart right now, as TSM also has a little bit of an oversight position to the side of them.
All right, Gen.G's got to be careful. Entis Ace is rolling up along the north side. Gen.G is repositioning to try to block this flank. They know that the team in the building in front of them probably isn't going to be leaving, so they got to make this fight work. That is a really nice grenade. Almost takes down Mickey, but Pio is also going to find joy. It is Pio once again popping off for Gen.G.
Magnificent awareness coming off of that. They knew where the threat was approaching from and instantly destroys it. Ace was thinking about making the push off to the side of that. Mickey's now down in cover. He had a potential point where he could push from, and now Pio is starting to feel it. You can see he's starting to step up, try to make this push off to the side of it. Mickey's still playing inside this dip. They know exactly where he is, and now they just got to spot which hump of grass is he behind, as I don't think that they know exactly with it, and now gonna have to step back. This could be bad for Gen.G, depending on when Ace decides to take the shot. Gonna spot him out. The spray's gonna go through, but Pio's down.
Pio gets out-dueled here, but other members, TSM is now shooting into Gen.G. Pio is confirmed dead, so there's only 3 standing for Gen.G. And look at this, Uba now spots them out, putting some shots into them. Loki moving forward, and now the circle is on top of FaZe and Entis Force.
So now FaZe knows who their neighbors are. That's why they started spin back over on this. They know that they need to eliminate these guys. Gen.G sitting on 5 kills. Uba manages to hit a little bit of damage back over towards Taman, but he drops down, trying to play off of a little bit of cover, but notice Loki slowly starting to creep off to the side of this. Loki might have managed to find an angle back towards it, but I don't think he has a clean sight line, as TSM is looking back over towards him, and really it's Rory holding the angle and kind of containing back Gen.G's push.
All right, Loki is going to relocate. He doesn't like this situation, and I don't blame him, but look at this. TSM is hungry. They know that there's only 2 members of FaZe. Taemin's out in the open. Uba is popping some shots into him, and he is going to get the knock on the Taemin.
But at what cost? TSM is running right up back behind him. Uba does manage to get the shots back over towards it. Fuzzface manages to get it down onto another member of TSM. They're spinning back around on this. Now starting to hold back the approach coming out from TSM. As you can see, off to the side of it, it's going to be Michael and Iroh up towards the top.
Can the heroics come through here for Fuzzface and Uba? Back over to Gen.G. Some grenades are bouncing past them. Taemin is still knocked from that earlier Uba knock. Loki and Esther trying to bounce Alpaca outside of this shack. Grenades up and over for them, but right now Alpaca is taking damage from another angle. I believe that is tied from VC.
We have so many small fights that are stacking up right now and stalling so many pushes from these teams that want them so bad. Fuzzface has a sight line back over toward Esther. Doesn't want to take the shots yet, but starting to connect with a couple of them off. It's going to be his teammate that's going to force Esther back around the other side. Just trying to find some clean sight line, but notice Loki is moving yet again, trying to move up on an angle, get this res off, and maybe move their team back into a decent position to be able to fight everything that's happening around them.
That's going to be a huge res if they can get it. Meanwhile, a big fight popping off here. Entis Force. Indigo gets at her first. Helen up on the hill. Now VC is popping some shots into this as well. There are other teams getting in on this action. Entis Force not really thrilled with this positioning, so Indigo is just going to move that up just a little bit. Kale taking a bunch of damage from Helen on the bottom side. He is very weak, going to have to heal up. Oh, but he
Now
gets
you
found
can
out.
see the shots coming up from FaZe Clan. They're committed in one specific direction right now. Meanwhile, Gen G is just trying to clear up these other angles. They're just trying to find anything else around them that moves. They want to secure more and more points off of this. Meanwhile, you can see FaZe is just kind of trapped in the position. Force looking back over towards Adder, can't quite connect with the shots through the smoke, knows exactly where he is, and has to play so cautious, tries to go for the shots, but it's going to be Jeff Blocka.
Jeff Blocka coming up and over, so 2 knocked for Entis Force. This could be their tournament as T1 pushes down the hill. Doya very low as well. It is just Sungjang with full health for them. Akkad is going to get knocked here. Esther finds Indigo. Oh my god, Esther finds Adder as well. 8 kills for Gen G.
Starting to get a little bit more space on the leaderboard. They managed to control inside this dip. The circle has shifted away from both Gen G and FaZe. All these guys are going to have to move, and it's actually going to be Na'Vi and Intis Force that are in a decent position.
This is huge. FaZe needs to get some points, and they need to start getting them because Gen G continues to tear through everyone in their path. Sungjang is knocked by Taemin. He is looking over towards FaZe. Fuzzface is down.
Fuzzface is down and out, and now there's just one member of FaZe. It's a Herculean task ahead of him. As you can see, Gen G is just accumulating more and more points. He has no angle that he can really work with, and Gen G is just taking more and more control over this game.
All right, Uba has finally abandoned this compound and is going to try to get something done. 5 kills for Esther, your veteran for Gen G.
But he's
Coming
not
up
going to push
huge.
off of it. This is exactly what you need your superstars to do at this moment. Uba knows where they are. He's trying to creep up back behind him. Gen G is going to feel like they have this area under control. They're not going to be expecting somebody to just pop off on this angle. If Uba can manage to get behind him, he could just absolutely destroy Gen G and maybe buy them a shot at getting that first place position.
All right, they are completely in control of the western edge. Somehow, some way, Sungjang is back up. Doya does find him, but Loki, I believe Solomon is going to get the knock. Now can he get the finish onto Doya and get 2 more points for Gen G, separating themselves even farther. But, ooh, Esther is going to get found by that SLR from Doya.
Gen G just feels so strong off of it, and look, the hunt is still on from Uba. He's paying attention.
Oh my
he knows
God.
they've lost one. Looks back over. He could have the angle. Connects with a couple of shots. That's one of the members from Gen G down. Can he connect over with another one? He has to be careful as TSM is still back behind him. And now he's given away his position. So now we have a 1v1 with the guys that are all in the top 4.
It's going to take a miracle from Uba to get this done. He does find another kill, so you can see there on the left-hand side. 99 for FaZe.
Gen G's
Loki.
out.
Gen G is down. So it is going to take Uba with a win and at least 1 more kill to get this done. Can he do it? Oh no, he's done.
FaZe goes down, and it's going to be from Na'Vi off to the side of it. Now it is just Force. Doya hiding down off of this angle. There's no way that he can get any more off of this, is there? He's got to have the angle off of this. 3 different people all seem to know exactly where he is. He's going to opt. They're thinking about the grenade, gonna bounce it back up. Na'Vi steps away from it. Doya still just trying to hold the angle, trying to see if maybe he can sneak around, find some different position. The grenade's gonna bounce right next to him, but Doya is now gonna get a little bit more information. Grenade goes off to the side, not gonna connect with anyone now, and it's just about trying to figure out exactly where Doya is. The step up comes through, and it's gonna be Na'Vi taking the round.
But the real story here is your 2019 PGC champions, Gen G!
These guys have stepped up when it mattered. That was one hell of a game to close us out, as it was just so back and forth towards the tail end of it. It was, you could see so many teams just trying their hearts out, but at the end, it's gonna be Gen G that stands on top.
PO kicking things off for Gen G. He gets found out, then the other 3 members get it going. Loki with that huge pickup on that crate, taking advantage of that MK14, picking up some big kills. Esther as well with a ton for himself. What a final performance for this Korean team.
Gen G, these guys fought their way up through this. They had a little bit of a rough start at different points, but now they stand here full, content, glorious as they've managed to win this, and they are the PGC champions!
G.